Thank you so much for staying with us here on The Morning Show on Gagasi Fm, is South Africa's #1 radio station, broadcasting to over 1.2 million people in 2 languages, in isiZulu and English. They call it Zunglish. And here to tell us more is the MD of Gagasi FM, Mr. Vukile Zondi. Gagash!
Mr. Lehong, how are you, my dear?
Ngikren, it's all right.
Good. Great to be on here, and good day to all your viewers.
No, good to see you, man. I mean, what makes Gagasi so special?
Well, look, I mean, there's a number of things, many things, from the people that actually power the engine room to the kind of talent that we've got facing our consumer. And really, it's the uniqueness of the brand. When the brand was launched, or the radio station was launched, the station really went from 0 to 1 million listeners, which prior to that, only YFM was able to do that, to go from 0 to 1 million listeners within a year. And I think Capricorn in the Northwest also did that when it was launched. But more importantly, what that showed is that, the station hit a very sweet spot in terms of speaking to the young, upwardly mobile, urban and peri-urban dwelling, Zulu and English speaking kind of audience, and serving them with information, serving them entertainment, serving them with a place that they call home when it comes to communicating. And look, we've got a great audience, we've got a great province that we broadcast from, as well as, broadcasting in Zulu and English means that it's accessible to people across the board, and broadcasting online now, it means that we've got quite a big audience that we're building up outside of KZN as well.
Radio in itself is one of the oldest forms of media. Is it for you still relevant, especially during these COVID-19 times, Vukile?
Certainly. So I think, first of all, radio has really shown its strength, and COVID-19 has helped us really show that. I mean, just like with TV, which is another traditional form of media, we've had to keep on air, because we are relied upon by this audience to give them information that is credible, to give them information that is on time, that is, relevant and time conscious. But on top of that, radio has been, and is the reason why radio is going to continue to be very relevant, is that it works very, very well with digital. Digital doesn't take away from radio. It actually adds value to radio. And what we found is that it complements it, exactly. And what we found is that with us now having to continuously, I mean, for the past 5 years, we've had to be more than just a radio station, because our consumer consumes, and our audience consumes more than just radio. They want to see what they hear, and the theater of the mind we have to fulfill in terms of what they see in a visual aspect, and in terms of what they see in terms of a face-to-face interaction. So yes, COVID has kind of taken away the face-to-face, so events and activations have kind of had to take a break, but we've had to now go and innovate, and do virtual events to kind of keep that promise going, and to keep that consumer going. But also from a digital point of view, what it has allowed is that it's actually allowed us to expand beyond just radio, terrestrial radio, as we would call it, which means FM frequency. It means that a person in Johannesburg, like yourself, Lehong, if you really would like to, can listen to a Gagasi FM. You can go onto an app and be able to find recordings of something, or of a show that you liked, because we'd then be able to do that in using podcasting, rewinds, and so on and so forth, which is something that, on radio in its traditional format would not be able to have. But in working with digital, we are able to basically now add that value and feed that appetite of that consumer who wants to engage further with our talent, with our content, as well as just the general feel and conversation that Gagasi is offering on air.
Let's talk about those offerings. I mean, I know Uwaris is part of your team as well, and I used to work with him and yourself at YFM. What else have you got?
So look, I mean, as you say, over and above the talent, and the talent is a very big part of it. We've gone away from we've taken a conscious decision, one, to not go after big radio names as such, but rather to groom talent within. And in grooming talent within, you're able to take people who come from other environments, incubate them around kind of radio. But the importance is that how relevant is this person on the ground? So off air, you need to be equally as relevant to this consumer. So we've got DJs, we've got comedians, we've got social activists on air, we've got motivational speakers, we've got wannabe pastors, we've got all kinds of guys who are, and why I'm saying these other roles that they play are just as important as what they do on air, because it becomes an extension of who they are and what they, and their little community that they speak to. Even our sports guys, are particularly strong on the ground. Guys are going out to go watch the games and cover the games that not everybody's covering. But on the other side, it's, we've recently, and I think just before the end of last year, had launched a mobile app. We've been online for a while. We've mostly app, which is available on the iStore as well as Google Play. But more importantly, over and above offering streaming, it's an extension of really engaging with our audience. And it allows us, one, to engage with this audience, find out from them what it is that they like against what it is that they don't like, continuously engaging with them to and fro. It adds to kind of the content creation process. Radio, as you would know, has always involved the consumer, has always involved the audience in creating content. Radio, to answer your question, is radio relevant? It's never been more relevant. We've seen this. And also, it's also been relevant because radio has bobbed and weaved and kind of adapted itself to the modern day consumer by being just as relevant in the digital environment as we have always been in the traditional environment.
You come from a show where you are now back home. Are you finding things a lot more happier in terms of just the goings of it?
Well, look, first of all, correction, I come from Nkandla, born a show. And obviously came to Joburg for about 10 years, which is where we worked with each other. And coming back to KZN, really, I mean, it's been great. It's a very interesting audience, and there's the lay of the land is quite interesting. I mean, over this period of COVID-19, we had been taking. We've been doing a project called Gagasi Fm Cares for KZN, where we've gone out to go and provide food relief to people in the most rural of rural areas. So we dropped to the whole urban environment and so on and so forth. And yes, we are still assisting our audiences in the townships and rural and urban environments. However, we went to I thought I knew KZN until I had to go to Edumbe. And we had been in Newcastle, where you realize really how people have been living, to the fact that you realize that people before COVID-19, the poorest of the poor, haven't been affected in any way by COVID-19. They are affected by just life and kind of the way things are. They were poor and struggling way before. So you start to kind of also realize kind of the various realities that people, and the beauty of radio is that we hear this all the time. People talk about their plight all the time. But as I said before, in the content creation process, we've always had the audience taking a very big part. And to see that visually has really challenged us as a brand and challenged us as people to say that, the impact that we need to have needs to go beyond just what our comfort zone is.
Awesome stuff, man. Thank you so much for making the time for us this morning during these COVID-19 times and bringing us in, really painting the picture of where Gagasi FM is going and how you guys are dealing with the lockdown COVID-19 situation. That is the MD of Gagasi FM, Babvugile Zondi, joining us this morning on the morning show. We're going to leave it there as far as that conversation goes. We're taking a quick ad break, coming back with more. Stay with us.